All right, cool. Okay, so Real Talk, episode number 61, RJ and Matt, and guests Kate and Cassie.
Hey, everyone.
What's going on?
Hey.
All right, so let's okay, let everyone get on here. Give it a little bit.
Yeah, we're a little early. It's fine.
Yeah, we're a little early, so let's give.
Good, we good.
We should probably share this to Legion, huh, Kate?
I did yesterday, but we probably should do it again. We can do that.
All right, everyone that's hopping on, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Also, too, share it, please. Let's get as many people on here as possible. Also, too, share it, please. Get as many people on here as possible. Hey, Emily, hey, Teresa, Mike, what's going on? Share it, please. Get as many people on here as possible. Hey, Emily, hey, Teresa, Mike, what's going on?
Oh.
Who has that go?
Somebody find the YouTube video and pause it.
Who's that?
Is that?
I think it might be.
Was it me?
Yeah, I think it is you.
Oh,
Boom. Sorry.
we're all like, awkward.
It's like in a tab. It wasn't even on.
Yeah.
Lost in a tab.
Oh, you know what? It's on again. Oh, crap.
This is
echo chamber of.
God, that is the life of an entrepreneur right there. It's in a tab somewhere, and I have no idea where it is.
Yeah, I have no idea which tab it is.
Yeah, that's a scary thing.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, obviously we're live already. So, Kate and Cassie, you guys wanna who's gonna introduce themselves first? Kind of give us a little background. Yeah. Go ahead.
Boom. Yeah, I'm Kate Ames and partner at Hickory Flats and founder of the private label Legion. You guys heard, I don't know, a month ago from Tim, who is our front man.
Our hype man.
Yeah, he's our hype man. Yeah, and we're just here to talk about what we do at Hickory Flats and how we're sourcing private label products for Amazon and off Amazon and all of the above. I don't know how far you want to go into me, but I'll let Cassie take it from there.
And Kate's a superwoman right now because she just had a baby like 3 weeks ago. Was it 3 weeks?
It was 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
3 weeks ago. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm Cassie Baskets, and I just joined the private label Legion and Hickory Flats about, I don't know, how long's it been, Kate? Maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago?
Yeah, I was going to say 6 weeks or something around those.
It seems like forever. Years. But yeah, so just joined the group and still running my own business and doing all that stuff. So
nice.
Also, to you, Cassie's came on the show before too as well. You were doing merch by Amazon before. That's pretty much how this whole show started. We started by doing that, and so if you guys are not familiar with Cassie, she's been on the show before. You can go back and search like a previous episode.
Talking about merch.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'm not real active with merch anymore, but we go in there occasionally to update some listings. We're doing that right now, actually.
Once in a while.
Yeah, but it's good residual money. I mean, it's passive, 100% passive income at this point. Put in all the work in the front end, and now it's just kind of making money. So
nice.
I'm kind of like a merch lurker. I feel like I know basically everything that's going on, but I don't really do anything with the information.
You made on there. I was watching your research and how you do your research on I think it was, what were you doing on Etsy, right?
Yeah.
Was it Etsy
Or Pinterest, probably.
And Pinterest, yeah, Pinterest, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really good video. You did really well with that. I was looking at it. I seen you in some of my niches on YouTube.
Was I exposing her?
Get out of his niches.
But yeah, a lot of people like watching those videos, and a lot of people hate on those videos because it's like you're like sharing all the secrets, and people don't like when you share all the secrets. But it's that's definitely a lot of people love watching those videos. And it was
no, I feel like I've been talking about this. I mean, maybe I don't have like that big of a circle that I've told it to, but I feel like I've been talking about the same thing for probably 2 or 3 years, and still like I'm regularly on there finding all kinds of stuff. So
yeah,
that's because you can talk about it all you want, but people actually don't want to take action. Like that's the biggest thing. Like they'll look at it, they'll watch the video, and then they don't follow through with it. They just go, oh, I'm just going to do something else. I'm going to use Jungle Scout. It's easier.
Yeah, and it's definitely not always the easiest way. So sorry if you're looking for the easy road. I don't have one for you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, what? Like, I'm pretty sure everybody's like, say, what do you do? Like, what is it that you guys do? Like, I'm pretty sure like everybody has that question. Like, so you want to kind of give a brief like description of like everything that you guys do, and I know Tim Jordan came on the show before and kind of broke everything down a little bit, but I know you guys. What's your guys' role? What the private label Legion, right? Did I get that correct? Did I get that right?
Yep, you got it right. Okay. So yeah, with Hickory Flats, we do a few things. So first and foremost, we do sell private label products. We have brands that we've been working on that are on and off Amazon. So we do that, and that's probably where my main role would be is in building out the brands. And I kind of wear the hat of like, what did you say earlier? I think Cassie even said earlier, research queen.
Yeah, she's our research queen.
That's kind of the hat that I wear, is like validating, our ideas and reaching out to find more ideas. We have right now, we have one of the things that we do is we offer sourcing trips to China, to Iwu, and also to Central America. So right now we've got people literally right now in China on a sourcing trip. And last night we're pinging back and forth about stuff that we've got. One of our other partners, JB, is there, and he's kind of boots on the ground looking at products for our brands and literally sending pictures, and we're chatting back and forth about ideas live. And yeah, so that's kind of the hat I wear, is like queen of research, I guess. And then we do our sourcing trips with Hickory Flats. We also offer sourcing services, and we have live events. What else do we do, Cassie? We do a lot of things.
We have did you talk about the mastermind? We've got a mastermind where we do live calls twice a week, 2 or 3 times a week, a lot. We do a lot.
Yeah, I missed that. That's a big one. We have so much going on.
Yeah, seriously. Like it's
yeah,
really crazy.
Our 1 degree mastermind is, I think we're about, I don't know if we're 2 months in yet, but it's been going well. We do live coaching, group coaching, and it's kind of covers the full range of topics that anybody that's interested in selling on Amazon would want to know about. So we're doing that in addition to everything else. And that is kind of part of our community, the Private Label Legion. When you hear us talk about that, that's our community that we've built. So we have the Facebook group, and the mastermind is kind of attached to that.
Gotcha. Let's get into the backstory a little bit, just because the way that Hickory Flats has blown up in the last year or so is actually kind of crazy. When I first met Tim, it was in Vegas like a year ago with Cassie and the Balcazars, and it was yeah, you were there.
Kate. Yeah.
Yes, Kate was there on the high roller. Yeah. Um, like what is your guys' vision in terms of what you guys are doing with Hickory Flats? Because it seems like you guys are really expanding a lot. Like, do you guys all have individual roles and specialties in terms of what you do? Is Tim just the hype man that gets everybody excited, and then you guys do all the work behind the scenes?
No.
Oh no, Tim
That's
definitely
a lot of work.
a lot. Like we can't. Our heads are spinning usually around Tim. Yeah, no, we kind of all have our own thing that we do. We have our own roles in the company. Like Kate said, she does a lot of research and product development, and I'll be doing more setting up systems and organizing and operational the side of the products. And we kind of all fill in with the coaching, and I'm sure we'll all be doing some of the educational things, but we kind of we all have our specialties, and JB is very good at business minded, and really he's also very good at like pumping people up. So
yeah, for sure.
He's a lot of fun. So yeah, we all have our roles, and we just kind of get in where we fit in.
I got you. Now, do you guys both have your own separate private label businesses? I know that Cassie kind of runs her own business. Kate, do you have the same thing?
Yes, I do.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mine is very much, it's pretty hands off for me. So at this point, yeah, I actually have a family member that it's my mom. I'll just say it's my mom.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. My mom manages what was my focus before my main focus. And so she's kind of taken the reins and been exploding it behind the scenes while I just pretend like I'm still in charge.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, right? Like, so Cassie, I know that your business really exploded within the last year. Kate, obviously, your mom, you said, is exploding your business, but like, how did you guys get into Amazon to begin with, right? Like, you guys had to start someplace.
Yeah. So I really hated my job, like hated it. So I just started looking for. I'd always kind of wanted to own a business, so I had some ideas before that I had tried to get up and running, and it always kind of fell flat before it got anywhere. And I just knew that I needed something that would be easy to do from home. So I just literally started Googling, how to make money online, and going through YouTube videos and podcasts, et cetera, and all these different, whether it was selling on Etsy or eBay. And I kind of settled on FBA because I thought that it sounded the most scalable to me, and like something that would be fairly hands-off, although I don't know that I was totally accurate in that, but it still worked out for the best anyway. But yeah, I just literally started educating myself while I was working my 9-to-5 job. I would sit there and listen to podcasts. And then when I eventually quit my job, I had a fair amount of knowledge. I was able to hit the ground running pretty fast. So.
Gotcha. Was your FBA business up and running before you quit your job?
No, actually it was not.
Did you have were you actually you're sourcing other products, or were you doing did you start with private label right away?
So I intended to start with private label. That was the plan, but I ended up really, really wanting out of my job. So we decided that I would just quit. And so I didn't actually at that point have any money to start with private label. And I didn't really know how to either. I was kind of freaked out about it. At that point, that was, I don't know, I think that was almost 4 or 5 years ago. So at that point, I didn't know anything about these research methods that I'm doing now. It was very much go to Alibaba and find a silicone spatula and put your label on it and send it in. And I was terrified to do that. So I ended up actually starting by reselling because I could kind of do that a little bit faster. So I did that for a couple years and made pretty good money, but it was really hard work. So I knew that I needed to find something that would be, like I said, more scalable and something that would allow me to kind of take my hands off of it at some point. So
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
when I started looking for private label ideas.
What about you, Cassie? How did you get into Amazon?
Oh, wow. My story is almost identical to Kate. I mean, I just was working a job that I was not happy with and had some, a little bit of business experience before that, and started my Amazon business on in November, December of 2015, and saw really, really good results with just retail arbitrage. And very, very quickly, like the following January, so like a month later, ended up deciding that I was just going to quit my job and kind of go all in. So we cashed out our 401k and just kind of, put my head down and really kind of made it work. But luckily, I very quickly figured out wholesale. So I was able to scale that very, very fast. And what may have seemed like not such a great decision kind of morphed into something really good, because it helped me along on the path that I'm at right now. So a lot of what I learned back in those first couple months with Amazon really has kind of like stuck with my business, and I do a lot of the same business with a lot of the same companies.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's sometimes when you take that leap, right? Like it just forces you to figure out how to do this shit. Like your guys' stories, it's exactly like my wife's, right? Like the reason that we are where we are right now is my wife absolutely hated her job. Like hated her job, like wanted to like run her car into a brick wall sometimes going into work. So I finally told her to quit, and then we figured it out. Like sometimes it's just that motivation, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's powerful. We've actually done that now twice in my family, and we're all still alive. So
right,
worked out okay.
So are we allowed to talk about numbers or anything like that? I'm just curious. That would kind of, I know, because you guys are like doing things on a whole nother level, and like you're like taking like sourcing to like I think it's probably like one of the top like levels to that next level. It's like I don't think there's any other level than like what you guys are doing right now. Is there like I'm not even sure how to ask you guys because you guys have multiple brands on Amazon, or like how does that work with let's say Amazon members, FBA. Cassie, I know, how many brands do you have on Amazon?
I just have one, like my own. I have one brand, and then I sell some wholesale as well. And yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay.
I'm doing multiple 7 figures on Amazon.
Nice. So like just like, well, basically you're doing over 7 figures. That's really amazing. Good job. Kate, are you allowed to say anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of talking about two different things here. So for like my own personal, we're doing well. I don't think we're doing as well as Cassie, but we have a very lean team. So I'm happy with where we're at and the growth that we're experiencing. And then with Hickory Flats, wow, we are growing. I don't know if I'm going to say numbers, just because usually we don't do that without talking to the rest of our partners. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, but to put that out there, I don't want to get in trouble when somebody gets off a plane from.
No, that's fine. I mean, I think we can all do the math in our head, though, just in the fact that like you guys are continuing to add partners, and you guys have 18 million things going on at any one moment. So
yeah, there's a lot of money coming in. There's money coming in, and we have yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of things going on, so it's good.
A lot of growth is happening.
One of the things I like best about you guys, and this is something that immediately struck me when I met Tim, was like, you guys don't bullshit. Like, you guys are pretty straightforward. You talk about how like the things that everybody else is doing is probably not the way to get into business, which is, part of the reason why Tim and JB are over in China right now, right? Is they're actually showing people, like, walking the walk. They're showing people exactly how to go through this business stuff. How do you guys see Hickory Flats helping people to grow their business on Amazon? Like, what is your guys' role besides the mastermind, besides everything else, like the sourcing trip? What do you guys do?
Good question.
We really just are there to, I mean, we're there to educate people. We're an open book about sharing our method and what we're doing, because we know that like there is no physical possible way for us to scratch the surface of the opportunities that are out there using the methods that we're using.
Yep.
So it doesn't bother us to be like an open book about that. And then on the trip specifically, you know, we have the education part, and then we also just really have the guided part where it's so easy to just literally get on the plane and everything's taken care of for you. And you know, Cassie and I went to China together last August.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know about Cassie. I have a feeling maybe she wouldn't have gone. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for her, but for me, like, I would have never, ever been the type of person to get on a plane to China and figure all that out, like all the logistics of where am I going to stay and how am I going to get from Shanghai to Yiwu and how am I going to hire a sourcing assistant? Like that alone would have petrified me to the point of never, ever doing it. And also just having to stress when you get there, you know. I think just having that everything handled, it gives you the ability to like really, really focus on sourcing and your business and what you need to do when you're there. And you don't have to worry about like what time the bus is going to pick you up. It's just,
right.
So that for me was huge because I would have been a mess in China, an absolute mess.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I could speak for myself. Like, I'd have been the exact same way. I wouldn't even know where to start. You know, at least if I was going to Guatemala with you guys on that trip, at least I could speak the language. In China, I would just be lost.
Yeah, and then trying to get on the train is like,
yeah,
right.
I remember thinking that even because I went to Guatemala. It's been a little over a year since the first time I went to Guatemala, and I was actually really pleasantly surprised with how comfortable I was with like the language, even though I do not speak Spanish. Like I know enough to where I felt like if I needed to, you know,
right.
call an ambulance, I could have. And I knew like the food, I knew pretty much what I was eating. China is a different animal than that.
It was an experience.
Like if you get dropped off on some side street in China, you're gone. No.
No, but the crazy thing is too, also you guys are actually making these relationships out there in China, and that's like that's pretty like that's awesome. Like it's really cool. Like do you think about it? Like you're going to another country and you're building these relationships where they actually want to work with you, and that's crazy. Like I don't know.
And
like
a lot of that we attribute to Tim because he's made those connections over the last few years, and he's really the one that's kind of like developed everything, and we're kind of like jumping in at the end, but I guess the middle, not the end, but yeah, he's the one that's really built all of those relationships, and we've got great people that we work with in China, and great groups that help us with the walkthroughs. And yeah, it's top of the line. Like you go to China, you stay in 4-star hotels, you eat at nice restaurants. Everything is taken care of for you. You just have to go. And then basically it's up to you to kind of see those opportunities, but we definitely teach you the strategies that we use when going through.
Gotcha. Now, in terms of like the partners that people are working with over in China, are you guys directed, like depending on whatever niche they're trying to get into, are you guys trying to help them to work with reputable people over there? Because I know that's always an issue.
We can, if you're looking to source specific products. Typically on the sourcing trips, we really, really try. I mean, unless you're trying to fill out an existing brand or you have a niche that you want to expand on, we actually try to encourage people normally not to like go to Yiwu to source like a specific product, because if you already know what you want, we can find it.
Sure.
We can find it. We can find the factory. Yiwu is better for kind of just, it's like browsing. You literally go through and browse millions and millions and millions of products. And you can kind of get like, hey, I'm interested in kitchen stuff. And your assistant will direct you to that area of the market. But you'll have the opportunity to really see a huge variety of products. And kind of what we teach normally is you compile like a list that's actually made for you, and then you can come back home and do the research and figure out if that if those products are viable. And that's where we kind of plug in the rest of our research method with
Gotcha. Okay.
the Amazon.
Yeah.
Etc.
So do you guys know anything about Yiwu Market?
No, not really.
It's humongous. It's like, what, 6 or 7 football fields long, and it's like 3, 4, 5 levels, and it's just these little shops, and they're all really, some of them are factories, some of them are like wholesalers, but there might be, you might see 20 of the same types of shops like in a row in an area.
Yeah.
So to go in with certain ideas is very difficult, because you would spend a lot of your time, a lot of the very limited time that you have there, just kind of like trying to chase down those specific products. So it doesn't really make it worth it to try to go looking for just one thing. It's better to just kind of see what you can find there, and then go back, do the research, and then place your order later.
Okay, interesting.
So it's a factory? Is it like?
Yeah.
It's like a big mall with like little rooms. I mean, I wish we had pictures to show you, but it's like a big mall essentially, and there's like tons of rows of these just shops. There's a bazillion shops.
Very, very like, yeah, big.
What you were gonna say, Kate?
The right word to say this.
Just say it.
like a very I don't know. When we say mall, we don't mean like, there's no gap there.
There's no gap.
It's a little bit more I don't know, bare minimum.
It's kind of like, imagine like a
because it's for wholesale, it's for business, so it's business to business. So
like a flea market almost.
It ain't pretty.
Yeah. No.
Also, too, so I'm doing all this, the whole process and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure you guys have helped like a lot of people, right? We have like some success stories with what you guys are doing, with helping others out.
Yeah, definitely. We keep hearing things, and it's really exciting. I mean, I think that's where things start to click for us, and that kind of pushes us forward into doing more and more, is that we see those success stories and people that are getting it, and they're finally getting it, and they're finding these products, and they're starting to have success. And I don't know, that to me is what propels me to want to keep going, because honestly, like, I'm not naturally the type of person either that would want to be in front of a bunch of people talking about, posting YouTube videos. Even that to me is kind of crazy. But when you start seeing people like clicking with the methods that we're using and actually having some success from it, it's actually really humbling to me. So
no, you're great. Like I whenever I get a chance, I try to share your guys' videos, because they're like really good, and they're applicable like across a wide range of things, depending on whatever you're doing. If it's in a marketplace, like the research methods are applicable to a lot of different things. But they're great videos. Like seriously, everybody that's on here, if you guys haven't subscribed to the Private Label Legion YouTube channel, you should, because they're really, really good. Cassie, you need to be doing more videos too.
Yeah.
We have that down below in the description too as well, their YouTube channel. Their content is like next level stuff. So Cassie, you barely got on the team, right? So you gotta come on, Matt. You gotta
Yeah, give me some time, Matt.
I'm gonna keep encouraging her to do videos. Like I'm just gonna keep pointing it out, especially because you're in the 2 Comma Club X coaching program. Like you're gonna have to start putting out some content.
Yeah, yes, you're right. I do need to start making more videos. We've talked about it. It's just there's so many things that just come up on a daily basis that it just gets there's so many things that we want to do that we don't ever get a chance to do more of. So
I mean, you guys are both moms too. You have a full family, like you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
running businesses. I mean, you literally run your business in that house, like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Along with being a mom and everything else, like I don't think people realize how much work you guys get done during a day. That's why there's like literally no excuses in my mind for anybody having any level of success. It's like just model what you're seeing in front of you. Like these are 2 women who have families, are dedicated to their families, and work their asses off and are very successful. There's no excuses.
Not only that too, they're also helping. That's what I'm putting it out there. They're also helping people too. That's like honestly, like helping others is like it's taking time away from yourself to help someone else do better. That's amazing. That's a lot of time right there in itself.
For sure.
So
yeah.
no, also too, you guys have any questions at all? Like get them
Anything
ready
related
for
to
asking them.
private label, Hickory Flats, private label Legion, all that stuff. Go ahead and drop them in the chat. Where did you guys decide to start doing the private label Legion, Kate?
Well, it was kind of something that has been talked about for a while. I think it was initially, well, I know it was Tim's idea because again, I would not be like, yeah, let me make some YouTube videos. I've always wanted to help people, but I'm more of like a behind, like normally I would be more of like a, hey, like PM me on Facebook and we can chat kind of a person, not the YouTube thing. But Tim kind of wanted to start the community as we had been attending conferences and events and kind of talking through people and learning like what was working, like what methods weren't working. And honestly, like, I think it was just seeing a need because we knew that we were kind of sitting on this method that evolved over the course of talking to other people, the method that I was using, the method that Tim was using, and kind of blending it and evolving that. And then noticing that a lot of people were really being kind of taken advantage of with some of the other methods that have been taught and are being taught right now. Like there's some people out there that teach some methods that, they're a real kind of a dice roll, and you may not be successful and you might lose a lot of money. And I think that that's just really sad because, I know that I was in that position where if my business hadn't worked out, it would have been really bad. It would have been really kind of catastrophic for our family. So I think it just kind of stemmed from that, seeing that need and saying, okay, somebody has to step up and do this. So let's do it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean,
I know.
like I said, go ahead, RJ.
I know Tim. He's not a big fan of some of these companies, and he'll put them on blast. He did it in an interview. I don't know. I think it was I forgot. I think it was Jungle Scout, I believe.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of them, or how's what thoughts on that, or no comment?
I'm not a fan. No, I'm not a huge fan of Jungle Scout. Here's the thing, guys. I'm not really a fan of any type of software tool process that gives you, here's step 1 through 10 to $1 million. Like that just doesn't exist. That's not real life. Sorry to burst your bubble. But if you follow like exactly, literally what somebody else tells you to do, so many other people are going to ride those coattails, and yeah, that's not going to work long term. So I will say that any software that tells you with the click of a button, yay, you won the lottery, go source that product and live happily ever after, I don't like that. So
I mean, it's the truth is, right? Like if it's easy, everybody's going to do it, which is what you're seeing, right? Like, and you could have success with that 4 years ago before everybody was on, starting to do FBA and everything else. But now, like, you need to understand the principles. You need to understand why something is selling, what the market's like, how to be able to figure out what the market is. It's more about understanding the fundamentals and using those fundamentals to be able to identify opportunities. And like,
Whoa, did I
that's a
just
skill
lose
you can take
guys?
anywhere.
Hello?
Oh, there she is.
Kate, can you hear us?
Uh-oh.
She might be frozen.
Sorry, guys. We're moms, so I don't know if anyone saw my like naked child running. I heard my husband say, "Take off your clothes and get in the bath," and I'm like, "Oh no!"
No, I think Kate.
She might have got frozen.
Lagged out. But no, Matt, to what you were saying, there's so much that goes to like starting a private label brand. Like, I wouldn't even know. I kind of have an idea, but I really don't have an idea where to start.
There she is.
Welcome back, Kate.
No idea what just happened.
That's okay.
Just froze. Sorry.
But like, here's a good question. So with like, where would a person start? Like with there you go, right there. Where would a person start if they wanted to start private label? Like,
Well, I mean, I think it's good to have a base. I don't think it's a bad idea to start with like retail arbitrage and wholesale and kind of get a feel for selling if you're specifically wanting to do that on Amazon. I think it would be good if you were going to jump straight into private label. Obviously, you've got to have somebody kind of showing you the way a little bit. So you probably would want to start with finding a good, piece of content. Of course, Kate and I both, like the first thing that we did was a ton of research on how to start selling on Amazon and how to start building a business. And then figured out retail arbitrage and then wholesale and then kind of like put it all together. I don't think it's as easy as just jumping into private label, but a lot of what we teach is finding opportunities that are not currently huge, massive opportunities on Amazon, taking a small test sample of those products, sending them to Amazon to see how they sell, using pay-per-click to do that, and then determining whether or not it's a good opportunity. So, and that's exactly what I do in my own business before I even met, Kate and Tim and JB. So I take very, very small samples of products, send them to Amazon, see how well they sell. They continue to sell. I continue to like send them in and just kind of grow it out. But for me, I've had the most success going very wide in my business. So I try to find a lot of products to sell. And they may not, I source a lot of my stuff in the United States as opposed to China. So for me, it's pretty easy to just send in a few things here and there and have like really quick replenishments. But what we teach going to China is taking a small test sample, which is why we go to EWU, because EWU is mostly wholesalers and factories that know that people are going to come and want smaller quantities. So you're not buying thousands, pallets of product. You're buying maybe like 300 or 400 pieces, and then you can send them into Amazon, test them, and see how well they work. So it's a lot safer of a bet than going to China and saying, "Hey, send me a container of products," and cross your fingers and hope that by the time it actually gets into Amazon, then the product is not saturated and there's a ton of competition because everybody was reading the same research that you were reading at the exact same time. And, they could have gotten their products into Amazon quicker than you did.
And
Right.
and I think like doing that test that we teach, there's a couple reasons why. I mean, one is, to hopefully identify a winner. But if you decide that you don't want to start with retail arbitrage, even if you break even or lose a little bit of money and you, are finding something that you can test, you're going to learn so much just from doing that. You're going to learn the process of using pay-per-click, because that's where so many people get hung up, is that they just don't do anything, right? Like I think we said that before already. They don't start. And because I know that petrifying feeling of thinking about importing a container and going, what am I going to do with this container if it doesn't sell? And all that money that I just lost. So buying anywhere like between 10 to even, in worst case scenario with EWU, 300-400 units, it just gives you that ability to learn and not like lose your ass doing it. So, yeah.
And you don't have to buy samples from China. You can buy samples here in the US. And honestly, if you're afraid to lose money up front, don't go to school and spend thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on education. I mean, you're basically doing the same thing by, just playing around with Amazon. So, and it's actually a lot cheaper to make a little bit of a mistake on Amazon than it is to,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody thinks too, like when they start this and say you lose some money, right? Like you didn't just lose money though, right? Like you got a lot of information back.
Yeah.
You learned a lot while you're doing it, and you're going to pay for education wherever you go. So whether it's, learning PPC and losing your ass in PPC because you didn't know how to do some of the things, you still learn from that. You'll learn quicker from your mistakes than you ever do from your successes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, also, so with that being said, right there, how much do you think a person will need to start private label, like doing private label?
I mean, I think
that's the biggest question.
It is, but I think you're going to get like a lot of different answers depending on who you ask. So if you're asking me, I mean, I'm just going to go back from okay, so my answer has changed over time, because I used to say very little money, but the reality is that yes, I personally started my private label product, my very first one, with probably around $300, okay, which is pretty cheap, right? I still sell that product like a lot. So it was a good product. But to be fair, I had been doing retail arbitrage for over a year. So all that money and all those lessons of crappy stuff that I bought when I was reselling and learning how it worked and learning, the system and the keywords and all of that, right? That was a time investment and a money investment. So I don't really know how to quantify that. I don't know. Getting started, I don't think costs that much money, but how long will it take you to succeed? I think it just depends on how hard you hit it.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, like, let's say, how about now? Are you guys allowed to answer this? Like your top selling product. How many times does it sell a day? Or do you even know that? Do you do the math on that part?
For me, it depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
Because I've got some seasonal products that'll sell
so
hundreds in a day.
Cassie mentioned earlier how her business goes wide and not deep. And I would say across the board, Hickory Flats follows kind of a similar strategy. So some of our products definitely don't sell like we're not selling 100 units a day, guys, but we're very much flying under the radar. So we don't deal with as many hijackers. We don't deal with a lot of copycats because everybody else out there is looking for those 100 sales a day products. And we're really not. We're looking for things that, maybe they sell 15 a day, but we're good with that because we can have 40 products like that tomorrow, right? So my my other business, similar strategy. I don't know. I'm going to say like bestseller right now, probably 20, 30 units a day average. Right. And then I used to have a product that sold around 5 units a day, but unfortunately, competition came in and kicked my butt down. So I no longer sell that product.
I think it's a valuable lesson though. I think regardless of whatever you're doing, whether it's private label, whether you're working on Etsy or whatever, right? Like you don't necessarily need to build your business around a couple of home runs. Like you can have a bunch of singles and put them together and build a really, really successful business that's a lot less stressful.
Oh,
yeah. And the one product that I had that was selling, so fast that we could not keep it in stock. That's the one that went down because it attracted a lot of attention. And overnight, I had probably 10 competitors that just totally ripped me off. So we still deal with competitors. I'm not going to lie to you and say that we don't. But it's a little bit harder for them to jump on with what we're doing now. We've kind of learned how to protect ourselves a little bit better too. So
right. I mean, the nice thing about going that way too is you worry a little bit less about having to deal with like Chinese people knocking you off and hijacking your listings and all that stuff too, right?
Yes, definitely. We do as much as we can to prevent kind of what we term a Me Too product, like a product that anybody can just go on and find on Alibaba. We really, really try to stay away from those for that very reason. We do not have a lot of hijackers. And when we do have them, it's so obvious that they're usually really easy to get rid of.
Right.
But,
no, that's pretty interesting though. Also like just having people just come in and like the next day, all of a sudden your sales go down because someone is actually like competing with you. That's crazy how that works. Like they're so fast on doing that. Like, I don't know. It's like next level stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, okay, if you have like a really high demand product, like people are going to see it, and there's you can't really get away from that in a way. But yeah, Cassie, like, what's your thought right there on going back to that question? How much do you think you need to? How much money do you need to start with for private label? How much money do you need to start private label?
I think that someone could, if you source in the United States, you could definitely start a private label business for a couple $100. I literally can launch a product for about $30, but I have suppliers, I have a system, I've got a team, I've got, I've built relationships over the last couple years. So I've got really low minimums, and I feel like my suppliers, know me well enough that they're okay with selling me small amounts to test. So for me, $30 and I could have a new product. But again, I'm like Hickory Flats, a lot of my stuff really flies under the radar. It may not sell a ton in a month, but I've got 800 products that sell some in a month. So, and then I've got some products that sell hundreds in a month. So, it just, they kind of all add on. And really it's, for me, I've just kind of learned different tricks and techniques over the years. So it's just, things are going well.
That's great. That's awesome. Like you can just start a new product with $30. That's amazing. But you worked your butt off to get to that position. Yeah, to that position.
Yeah,
handed to you.
It was a slow start, and once I kind of figured it out, it was just all about scaling at that point. So, it's just like merch, like you figure out what works and then just try to scale your business out that way. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You do a lot of testing, find something that works, and just double down on it. Let's talk about the workshops that you guys are putting on. I know you guys did one at Prosper that was a big hit. You guys have one that's coming up, right?
Yes. So ASD Market Week is starts on July 29th. So we are doing it's a workshop and a walkthrough of the actual market. So it's one day only. So it's a very quick trip. Nothing quite as intense as flying all the way to China, but it's in Las Vegas, July 29th. We're just doing the one day. And basically it's going to be 2 hours, right? 2 hour workshop.
Yeah, I think it's,
throw as much information in your face as we possibly can without scaring you to death. And no, I'm just kidding. We walk you through kind of what to look for and the reasoning why and our methods. And then we get hands-on and we actually go through the market and teach the, kind of what to look for. And I was not at the last one, Cassie was, so she can probably speak a little bit more to that, but it's going to be a good time. We had a lot of good feedback from the last walkthrough that it really just helped people kind of bring the puzzle pieces together for them. So
For sure. Are you guys going to do this at 7 a.m. again, Cassie?
Oh gosh.
7 a.m. Oh, I didn't know that.
It was. And I saw Matt, what time did we leave each other? Like midnight?
Right around there, yeah.
Okay. So I have a really hard time sleeping when I go on trips. So after we did a VIP part, the first ASD in March there's always a lot of Amazon sellers that go to that, and there was a lot of meetups and parties. So we did it we rented a party bus and had some VIPs. It's okay to say who was on the.
I think
who was on the.
Yeah, I mean they were there.
So we had the Helium 10 crew with us on the party bus. So Manny Coates and all his crew, and we just took people to these different parties and hung out, and then we got dropped off at what. Was it
you guys ended up at Paris at the end of the night?
At Paris. So we met Matt and Aaron and had a little short dinner. I had only had one piece of pizza and then left for it.
You guys looked like you were so tired by the time you got off that bus and starving.
Yeah.
And started at 7 a.m. the next morning.
And then, and I was not able to fall asleep the entire night. The entire night I was awake. I was laying there and I kept thinking, okay, I've got 5 hours if I fall asleep now, and I've got 4 hours if I fall asleep now.
That's the worst. You're doing the math in your head and it's
I hate that.
3 hours of sleep.
Yeah. So we were up at 7:30, or I don't even know. Yeah, I think it was at 7:30 because I think it started at 8, and we did a 2-hour workshop that went very well. And then we took party buses and limos over to ASD, the convention center, and walked through.
So all that's included with what you guys did last year, because with the party bus.
Last month. I don't know. We might do see if we can rent a room at the convention center, just because it would be logistically makes more sense than having everybody go to an off-site place. But yeah, we'll see. If we go with the same place, that's fine too.
The basic format is the same. We might tweak a little bit just to make it more convenient logistically, but otherwise, yeah.
But we basically are just going to take everybody, split them into the 4 groups, and then each one of us will be there. Kate will be there. I'll be there.
Tim and JB.
Tim, my other partners, the other ones. They'll be there, and then we'll just split into 4 groups and not really hold people's hands, but just kind of help them through the thought process of it, because it's a lot different. I mean, we're not sending them in there to go buy or even really to talk to suppliers. They're just really there to do market research. Mm-hmm. And then when we come home, they should have had a list of ideas that they could take back and research, and then we do a Q&A follow up with them, where we answer all of their questions and see if they had any pain points, and just really make sure that they had a good experience and that they were able to walk away and take action.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just speaking for myself personally, knowing that you're dealing with somebody that's an expert that can answer your questions and give you direct, concrete feedback about why something is good or why something is bad shortcuts the process so damn much. Like it's just even just the like it's almost like the warm blanket feeling, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm not like chasing down a rabbit hole, especially when you're starting with private label where like you realize you're going to have to make an investment. So if you can do anything to alleviate like the pain points and get rid of some of the doubt, it's huge.
Yeah.
I think ASD it can be a little intimidating too, because a lot of Amazon sellers go to ASD, and some of the vendors have kind of like a reputation for, oh, you are at Amazon, we don't want you. So our methods kind of teach you how to kind of work around that. Like Cassie said, we're not really asking you to approach them directly. It's more of a research, process that we're teaching you from start to finish. So if you're not sure how to deal with ASD, like I went to ASD the first time completely by myself, and it was kind of scary because I went up to a ton of vendors and they basically, like beat me out of their booth because I said the word Amazon. So,
Do you find that's changed? Do you find that's changed though? Have people started to soften a little bit? I mean, Amazon's kind of a cost of doing business now, don't you think?
Not really, because Amazon sellers have a really bad reputation for being, coming in and like jumping on, they'll jump on the opportunity. They'll kind of erode the prices, which hurts the vendor, hurts the wholesaler, whatever. And it's become such a popular, like almost like a get rich quick scheme, right? So it's just like overwhelming the amount of people that are trying to contact these wholesalers. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And really not provide them with anything of value. They're just there to be leeches. So
yeah. Also, so kind of like so what you guys are doing is like a workshop walkthrough, right? Correct. We're have it down right below in the description, guys. We have a little link down there. You use the coupon code Real Talk, and that gives you a $50 off the price of, was it $4.97? I believe I seen.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
That's right. It's $4.97.
Yeah, I mean, like the honest to God truth, guys, like I don't even care if you guys use the coupon or not, but if you guys are going to get into private label, if this is something you want to learn, like these are the people that I would talk to. Like there's a reason that we had Tim on, like there's a reason that we have Kate and Cassie on right now, because I know that like they're actually going to do the things they say they're going to do. They're not going to teach you a system that's bullshit that worked 3 years ago that got them some success and doesn't work anymore. Like they're actually teaching you how to have success. Like I don't know. It fires me up. Like I see so many people that get taken by bullshit all the time, over and over and over again, because they get promised this shiny object that like this is going to solve all your problems. It's going to be easy, and you're going to be making $5,000 a month in no time. And it's like, no, motherfucker, that shit don't work. Like you guys need to actually put in the fucking work. And that's the thing that like I really like about Tim and Kate and Cassie and JB especially, because JB will fucking call people out. Like you have to put in the work if you want to have success. And there's no shortcuts. There's no easy button. But if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to spend the time to actually learn the system and learn how to think about this stuff, you can have massive success.
Yep.
Then that's another thing too, with you guys too, is you guys are really easy to talk to. Like you guys are really good-hearted people. Like that's a plus side about you guys. So that makes so like with business and stuff like that, that makes it so much easier. Like I don't know, like with me, like I'm the same way. Like it just people love talking to me and making fun of me, and I don't mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I do mess up a lot, but I do have fun. I enjoy doing what I do, and
Yeah,
that's the good thing about you guys.
I mean, we're pretty good. I mean, I think we're a pretty good crew to roll with. We're pretty easygoing, and if nothing else, like Tim will force you to feel comfortable. So you'll be good. Like if you're the type of person that has never come to an event or any type of networking thing. Obviously, I'm not saying you have to come to ours. That's fine. Go to anything you want. I think you need to go to it. I learned that lesson a while back because it's changed my business tremendously ever since I started actually reaching out to other people and meeting them. And again, that's kind of the introverted side of me. It's not something that I'm necessarily always really excited about, but I've learned to kind of push through it, and it gets easier. And if you're thinking, oh, I'm too intimidated, don't be, because like I promise you, within 15 minutes of hanging around us, I think you'll be pretty comfortable.
Within 5 minutes of meeting Tim, you'll have a drink in your hand and you're gonna have a smile on your face.
Yeah. So true.
Well, maybe not at the walkthrough, but there's a good chance that afterwards.
There's a good chance that at whatever point in the day that Tim is not working on the workshop, there'll be bottles involved somewhere.
Right? Yeah, Tim's funny, man. He's crazy. He's crazy. The first time I met him, he was like, "You know how to work this thing?" his camera.
I remember.
Yeah, I was like, "Huh?"
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yep. And that's like, honestly though, that's how big relationships happen. I mean, I met Cassie through a group chat on a group. What was that called? Sourcing group.
It was a fourth quarter sourcing group that was put together by another group, and we were both in it together, and we would just chat on WhatsApp basically about different products that we were going to buy, and we would share ideas. And that's how Kate and I met. And then we ended up going to CES 2 years ago in Florida.
Yeah.
And that was actually, ironically, that was where Kate and I met for the first time in person. And then she met JB. I met JB for the first time. And I didn't meet Tim on that trip, but both JB and Kate met Tim on that trip. So, and then I met Tim through Amanda and John, and then Kate partnered up with him, and crazy how things happened. But yeah, I can guarantee that I would not have gone into business with people that I didn't think were wholeheartedly good people that did the right thing. So if any of you guys in the community know me, we obviously, we care about people. We want everyone to succeed. And we just want people to get the right information and, do things a little bit safer than what some of the other methods that are being taught out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's amazing though. That's a good thing though too. That just being like showing people that you care. That's a real plus right there for sure. But you truly mean it though. So that's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I like what you guys are talking about too, though. Like, this is something that we try and bring back to our audience all the time. Like, put yourself out there, like get out, network, go out and meet some people. Because I guarantee you, like, the success that you guys have had in your business has largely been impacted by the people that you've met along the way and the relationships that you guys have had. It
really, really it really is. I can't even say enough about how that I don't know where I would be right now just from having those conversations with people and seeing other people doing it. Especially when you're a lot of us are like working from home, kind of all secluded and on our own. And that's not good. Like you can't survive there forever. It's a lonely space, right? And especially if you aren't around. I mean, even just locally, I've said, get out there and talk to somebody that owns a business or something, because if you don't have somebody to support you through that, I mean, not every day is going to be rainbows. So you need to have that network of people to kind of pull you up and through those times.
For sure.
We have those, don't we, Kate?
Yeah. I mean, oh yeah. All the time. I mean, still even there's just a lot going on. So, and I'm like a very stressful person. So
it's nice to have people to lean on. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, the coolest thing about me joining a group, because I do everything on my own and I have a team, but at the end of the day, like, I'm the decision maker. I have to make all of the decisions. And, even just having these 3 other people that I can bounce ideas off of, it really helps. And it helps to have, support and a tribe, and it's not just us. We've got a huge support group, and we've got people, all over the country that if we need answers to questions, they can support us. So, and there's so many things that it's impossible to take in all of the information all on your own, so it's good to have like masterminds or groups or chats that you can just ask questions in about, what's the best way to do this? And have you guys been through that? Or, whatever it may be, but it's nice to have that support, and you have to.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Having that circle of trust where you can lean on somebody and go, hey, I need this. Can you tell me where to go? And then knowing that like that's the real answer, like that's where you should go. I mean,
and you can get the answer quick, like
100%.
5 minutes, have an answer and then be, on with your day.
Yep. I mean, that's really what we're trying to do with the private group that me and RJ have going on right now too, is the exact same concept, right? Like have a small group of people in there that, are dedicated to the exact same thing, that are working on their business, and give them a place where they can have community, they can feel safe, they can know it's going to be positive, and know that like somebody's going to have an answer one way or another in terms of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it's getting like the show seems to be getting better and better and better as we go along towards the end. No, this is that's a really good conversation right here for sure.
Yeah, and those smaller groups, I think usually, if you get in with people that you can trust, that's huge too, because you can kind of usually get a little bit. Like, I know merch is the same as FBA. Nobody wants to talk about like, what's your design? What's your niche? What are you selling? Nobody wants to say, right? But sometimes it's really hard to get support when nobody knows what the heck you're doing. So having those smaller groups where you can kind of develop relationships with a little bit more trust, that's a game changer too. It really is.
And I don't know about Kate, but I get asked a lot of times, like, do people share their ideas or their products with you guys? And, the answer is yes. I mean, we see a lot of people's products, and, sometimes we're like, damn, that's a good product. I wish we had found it,
ASD.
But the reality is that we have more product ideas than we could possibly source. We don't have the resources to go after everybody's product ideas. So for us, it's like, sharing ideas, they're not going to go past us, and we're not going to steal your idea. So that's basically what it boils down to. It's just, we're here for support. We don't want to get into your niche. We've got our own things.
I want your niche.
That's what I think though too. But if you're more focused on taking other people's products, you're not really thinking like about this long term.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah. We're building brands.
Yeah,
we're not just out for random products. We're building brands, and everybody, the way they source or the products they're sourcing, they just don't fit what we're doing. So it wouldn't make any sense for us to do some random out there products. But yeah,
we just had and it's funny too, because all the time, I think yesterday, I don't know what day it is right now in China, but somebody that is kind of in one of our masterminds that we have was asking about a product and wanted me to kind of look it over and give an opinion. And I immediately was like, oh, dang, I used to sell those. Like I used to flip them. And it never even occurred to me after I started private label to ever think about selling them as a private label product. And I was like, dang it, I really kind of screwed up that one. But I said, yeah, I think you should go for it. It looks good. Go for it. It wouldn't really fit in with our brand that we're building. So yeah, like Cassie said, there's just so many opportunities out there. Yeah. Also, I like to sleep at night. I have a very small window that I get to sleep. So I need to take full advantage of it and make sure that my conscience is totally clear.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like something that is universal too with the people that like we bring onto this show. They're all people that are trying to help other people, right? Like they're just all doing things for the right goddamn reason. Because we're the same way, man. Like I can't promote something that I don't believe in. I have to sleep at night. Like that'll eat me up inside. And RJ's the exact same way. Like we just want to help as many people as possible. And, you know, by helping people help them have success, like it's naturally going to lead to better things for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then also too, like it's another thing too, like a lot of people that I've helped are like, we're friends now. Like because we help those people. Me and Matt helped a lot of people, but we're like actually like we're friends. Like we're cool. Like I helped you make $1,000 this month, but not only that, like now we're friends. We built that long term, like it's a long term relationship, and you just have the same amount. Like I don't know, just building that circle of trust with people that are actually like want to grow and want to do better and want to help others too. And then next thing you know, it's just I don't know, it's rinse and repeat process, and it's fun.
And it snowballs. Yeah. And the cool thing too is that, you know, no matter really where you're at, whether you're just starting or haven't started or you're killing it right now. I mean, I think that, I know this just from my own relationships with people that it doesn't matter. Like every single person usually has something super valuable to bring to the table. Like it doesn't matter. It might not have anything to do with Amazon, but there are people out there with so much insight and knowledge. You just have to ask them the right questions.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a really good show. We're a little bit over an hour. We have 47 people watching. If you guys can give this video a thumbs up. This is really like I don't know, really good. This is awesome. I was excited for this show.
Y'all should go follow their YouTube channel. It's really good. Like I'll just reiterate that, and join their Facebook group, Private Label Legion. You'll see it right behind Kate and behind Cassie. They're the real deal. If you have interest in doing stuff on Amazon in the private label space, or just want to learn a little bit more about it, they're consistently dropping a lot of knowledge in that group, and it's not super big. It's still fairly small, which blows me away.
Yeah, no, like their content is like next level stuff, and I'm telling you guys, this like a lot of the people that are watching this stuff, like you guys are not going to catch on until like probably like 2 years from now, but you guys are going to go back and like RJ said that like literally like 2 years ago, like it was next level stuff, because that's how like they're ahead of the game for sure. So yeah, I think we're just going to stop it right there, guys.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Cassie.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Thank you for coming on. And also, if you guys, like I said, there's a link down below. If you guys are interested in the private label workshop that they're doing, ASD walkthrough, there's a link down below. And use the coupon code RealTalk. And that is it.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Have a
See you
good night.
later. Bye.